Hello and welcome everyone to our second in a series of our HR in the time of pandemic. Today is a very special day for us because we're very lucky to have a very special guest. For our session this afternoon. So for those of you who are watching, you can watch us. We're live streaming actually in four different pages right now. So we have one in our main Facebook page, the Facebook page of Uprush, and then we're also streaming at the HR Bootcamp attendees group, and we're also streaming at the Society for the Advancement of HR in the Philippines. If you're watching, we're also live in Philippines HR group. For those who are watching and would like to do a watch party for their team members, please feel free to do so, but please make sure that they register at the end of the program so that we can generate a certificate of attendance for them. So as we've mentioned here, as you can see scrolling below, request for certificate of attendance will be discussed at the end of the workshop. So we'll have a separate way on how you can request for certificate of attendance for those who have already registered and we have confirmed receipt of your registration. You don't have to register anymore. We'll automatically generate that for you. So good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Mega SDRO. Good afternoon, Danielle. Good afternoon, Erwin. Good afternoon, Malu, and the others. If you're commenting from our Facebook groups, unfortunately, we can see your name, but we are able to see the comments that you are putting on the comment section. So, any question that you might have, or any comments or reactions or sharing that you might have, please feel free to use the comment box for that. We'll discuss that during our Q&A session later on. Now, before we begin with everything else, let me just do a quick plug in for our upcoming HR bootcamp. This is already for our batch 13. So if you are interested in joining our HR bootcamp, please feel free to get a screenshot of our QR code. If you have a QR scanner, if you're using an iPhone or an Android phone, you can easily go to your QR code scanner, scan the QR code. It will direct you to the Google Forms where you can fill out the details and join our HR Bootcamp Batch 13. This is a paid webinar po, yung HR Bootcamp Batch 13 po natin, but I can promise you that you will learn a lot from this bootcamp. We're already on our Batch 13 and we have a lot of graduates who I am proud of. I hope they haven't forgotten whatever it is that I have taught them during the HR bootcamp. Sorry kung medyo paos. I've just come off from our session on labor relations and labor cases earlier. So medyo nawawala na yung boses ko. Anyway, so yan yung ating QR code. Now, for those who would like to have their logos featured in our webinars, as you can see here, we have our partners. We have the Social Geekers, we have Wikineeks, and we have Move Up. Move Up also is running their own webinar. So if you're interested, they also have their own webinars. You can also join that. You'll also have a lot of learnings from those. If you would like to have your logo show up in our screen right now, you can avail of our sponsorship packages. So we actually are providing a free sponsorship package. It's under the bronze package. We just need you to help us in promoting our webinars, our free webinars, and our paid webinars. If you would like to be listed as a co-organizer, we have the gold package, which is currently at 4,480 pesos, VAT inclusive. That will get you a listing as co-organizer. Your logo and your company name and your company page will be featured in all of the events that we have for the HR in the time of pandemic, as well as all the other events that we're going to have during this month. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. I'm seeing some familiar names. Sam Sabus, hi. She was very active last time. She's also here right now. Some of the attendees that we've had earlier are also here for the labor relations. It's good to see you here, people. I hope you also learn a lot because we have a very special guest with us right now. Just a quick call for help. We have one of our friends. His son is suffering from acute lymphoblastic leukemia. He was diagnosed last June 10, 2020, and he's currently in need of medication. So if ever you would want to help him, the boy is planning of becoming a pilot someday, which is very, very cute. If you would want to share your love and support for them, we are flashing here, and we would also be sending this to you, the details of the accounts where you can provide financial support, or if ever you just want to give them some quick words of encouragement, the number is also there. You can send them a very, very quick message on how you can help them, or just to provide some words of encouragement. If you're also watching our series on help, I'm a new HR. One of our panelists, or one of our usual guests, her father is suffering right now. He's in stable condition, but he still needs some help. So if ever you would like to help, the GCash number is there, the BPI number is there. The name of our panelist is Monica Nalda. If you would like to provide some help, ito po yung mga numbers. We're also launching a free concert in order to generate funds for her father. It might be happening on the 21st. So if ever you don't have much to do, we encourage you to watch the concert, online concert, and feel free to share it with your other team members. So yan po. So, ayan. Na-discuss na natin lahat ng mga kailangan ko i-plug right now. So let me just do a very, very quick introduction on who we have today as our guest. And I am so honored to have her, because the guest that we have right now has been an HR practitioner for quite some time. Without further ado, let me introduce our speaker, Ms. Jacqueline Fe Luy. She is actually a fellow in people management, recognized by the Philippine Management Association of the Philippines. She was a certified industrial organizational psychologist given by the Psychological Association of the Philippines, and used to be a psychology professor at Cor Jesu College in Digos City, where she also received her college degree in Bachelor of Science in Psychology until she moved to the corporate world in 2007 up to present. Continuous learning is currency to Jackie. She's very, very passionate about learning and sharing her learning, whatever it is that she has learned. She obtained her master's degree in industrial counseling at San Pedro College, Davao City, and earned units to get a doctor's degree in management, major in human resources management in Notre Dame of the Diangas University and Ateneo de Davao University. Last May 2015, she took training on Advanced Management Program and Executive Education at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in Boston, USA. And she was able to she will be completing her Level 2 accreditation on Harrison Assessment, where she received Employee Development Accreditation in 2018. So you can see that sharing is something that's very dear to her, and is something that she considers as very therapeutic for her. With her leadership, adaptive flexibility, she's taking roles and responsibilities that dynamically transform alignment with business agility of her current organization that is brought by its business transformations. As part of the implementation plan of her executive education from MIT, she organized and collaboratively built the first ROHQ, or Regional Operating Headquarters, and the first shared services center in Mindanao for the company that she's currently with the goal of aligning people, process, technology, and culture. Then, during that time, she was the general manager and vice president of the shared services of the company. And currently, she's transitioning to HR business partner for one of the, I think, subsidiaries of the said company, from being the chief people and culture officer. These transitions are largely brought about by the global health and economic crisis that we are all facing. So in order to build sustainable partnerships while continuously learning by sharing is happiness to Jackie. Hence her significant contributions to the PMAP, in building 2 classroom buildings for the young survivors of Storm Bofa, or locally known as Bagyong Pablo, when she was the Davao Chapter President in 2013. Jackie remained active in PMAP, People Management Association of the Philippines, Davao Chapter, as one of the board of directors. We are very happy, very lucky, and very excited to exchange learning with Miss Jacqueline Fe Luy, FPM. Miss Jackie, let me just add you to
Hello.
the stream. So welcome, welcome, and thank you for being part of our afternoon of learning. So let me just share your screen, and I think I'll be turning over the floor to you. So guys, this is a very very exciting time for us. We have someone who's very good when it comes to employee engagement, organization development. So Miss Jackie, the floor is all yours.
Okay, thank you, Miss Rona. Thank you for the very generous introduction. So, good afternoon, everyone. I hope your day, your Saturday is very much filled with blessings. And I hope I will be able to also add to that day for this afternoon session. So, the learning objectives of this session are the following. Next slide, please. Okay, so appreciate employee engagement as part of the employee experience in the company, collect best practices and best practices shared during this session. So it's not only me who will be sharing whatever practices we have, no, so others can also share in the chat room and thrive in the chosen profession with the learning appreciated and collected through this session. So first, let us define what is an employee engagement. So according to the different HR consultants, like for example of Quantum Workplace, employee engagement is the strength of the mental and emotional connection employees feel toward their places of work. According to Willis Towers Watson, employees' willingness and ability to contribute to company success. And according to Aon Hewitt, the level of an employee's psychological investment in their organization. So it's up to you how you are going to define as well the employee engagement in your company. So for this afternoon session, we will be focusing on self. So the self denotes that every individual is unique and so is our culture. So what I am going to share with you doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that it is a true to all. So every culture is unique. Every organization is unique. So you will be the best judge to whatever will be the best programs, the best activities, or the employee engagement program that will fit to your culture. So, but we have to also note on the behaviors. Let us first note on the behaviors which are engaged or disengaged employees. So, for the engaged employees, these are employees who are very positive, who are very optimistic. They always look for the welfare of their team members. They also are selfless. They go beyond what is expected of them. And they think of the solutions rather than being stuck with the problems. So there are people who may be stuck on the problems, but this type of people will always look for better solutions. Like for example, if there is no other way to go, they will look for different diversions just to reach the goal. And as I was saying, selfless, and they show not only passion but grit as well to continuously learn, and they will innovate themselves. They will not stay the same. They would like to continue to become better every day, and they pass along credit, but they also accept blames because they believe that every individual is not perfect and that every individual continues to be improved. However, those employees who may be disengaged or about to be disengaged, they always look at things which are not working. They always look at those things which are broken rather than on what can be done. So they think of what they can get from the company instead of what they contributed to the company or what they can contribute to the company. They feel very difficult to get up in the morning or they feel that they are dragging themselves to work. So that's why they would like to file a leave, or you will be surprised that they are on a wall. And they have negative things to say on whatever the company will do, or what the boss will propose, or what the boss will present. So their ego is very important for them, and they focus more on what's in it for me rather than what I can contribute for the company or for the team, or what do I have to complement with the team. And they accept credit, but accountability on the results, especially if there are mistakes, they will brush it off. So those are behaviors which are already indicative that they are now starting to disengage, or they are already disengaged. So how are we going to alleviate those situations? How are we going to help our team become engage again? So as I was saying, I term this as self. No? So it's because every individual is unique, and so is culture. So what I am going to share with you may be true to some, may be true to us, may be true to me, or may not be true with others. So as I emphasized a while ago, you will be the best judge in your own individual situations. You will be the best judge in your own organization, and you will be the best judge in your own company. So, especially in looking for solutions, the first thing that we have to focus on is the S of the self, which I term it as stewardship. So I would like to share with you just few of the practices that we have. We started, especially with the pandemic, especially of this global health crisis, which also turned out to be an economic crisis as we go on in 2020. The most important and non-negotiable is the people well-being. So how can the organization work, or how can the or the business prosper without the people? So people well-being, not just the physical, but of course the psychological aspect, the mental, the emotional, the socio-emotional, everything. It should be the topmost priority. So when the COVID-19 hit us, we immediately look at how's the mental wellness of our employees, especially in the approach of this pandemic. So we have to do something for us to accept that it's okay not to be okay, because the world is really not okay. So we have to accept that. Acceptance is very key, that the world is really facing this, that we really are challenged. Our situation is really confronted with this crisis. So we conducted this. We call this as Mind Matters program, and of course, we were very much glad that we were also being assisted by the most prominent and the most popular and the best in the country, Dr. Hani. No? So she's a very good friend of mine, and she helped me as well in building up the two classroom building for the young survivors of Bagyong Pablo in sometime in 2013. So, as I was saying, self care is very important. We have to go back to that. No, we have to go back to the basics. So, the mental models of being prepared is should be emphasized. No? So, as well as the clarity on the company's situation. So we have to be very open or transparent to the employees, so that they will also offer something to the company. So if they are not clear on where they are going, they will be threatened. So, but if we are very much clear to them, we are very much transparent to them that we are facing this, then they will also offer something for the company. So defining where we are and where we are going for example, for the next 2 months or for the next 3 months, because everything now is very dynamic. We don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. We don't know even what is going to happen to us at 7 o'clock in the evening, right? So we have to be clear where we are going, or even be clear that we don't know where we are going. So it's very important for us to let our colleagues, our team members, and our employees know where we are. So um, clarity of where we are going is one of the organization drivers or management drivers for our employees to be engaged. So acceptance of the situation is also, as I was saying, very important. So that's why we also develop a somewhat a care for others after we were able to share with them how to address our situation and how to accept that being not okay is okay. So communicate and never complicate. So let us communicate, 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 but never complicate. So we term it as make things very simple, because whatever is in our surrounding now is very complicated. So if we also take things in a complicated manner, our life will be very somehow miserable. So name rules, issue policies which are very simple, like 1, 2, 3. No? So that people will just follow. No? So policies should be also very clear, so that employees will follow, and then by in that manner we will also be engaging them. And then that's on the mental model side, and then habit forming, and then later on valuing process. So I am emphasizing those stages. It's because basic to behavior is we try once, and then we try it thrice, then that becomes a habit, and then later on it becomes our value. First it becomes our attitude, and then it becomes a habit, and then later on it becomes a value. So that's on the stewardship. And the second one is the E of the self. COVID-19 is an equalizer. It equalizes everything in the world. So in one day, everyone is equal. So we have to look at it as in a positive manner, wherein we can find our equilibrium. No? So we have to find our balance. We have to create our own balance. So in developing the engagement program for our employees, you may look at this as a guide now in developing that employee engagement program during this pandemic time. Like for example, number one is limit those which are non-essential activities. So look at things which are important, the essential ones. So make the team members appreciate what they have at the moment. So learn when to say no. No, so not everything that will be given to you or to them should be accepted. So as it is connected with number one, that we have to learn to say no or limit the activities which are not essential, or if not, do not do anything that's not essential at all. So establish boundaries and unplug. Like for example, when you are working from home, I believe you already know where your location is, but of course you are just in the house, and you should know where your office area is, and where you should also know where your relaxation area is. So in that manner, you will be able to unplug yourself. No? So establish boundaries, especially if there are children in the house. No? So and we know where our private area is, and we know where our office area is. So consider also the schedule. Like for example, um, your work activities during the week, optimize the platforms of your company, and then collaborate your schedules. And you should also include your schedules of relaxation. And you have to be very serious about it, because if it is a work from home, anytime your boss can call you. No, so then you have to be serious with the schedules. That includes the relaxation. So unplug yourself. No, so even if it calls for putting off your phone or putting off your laptop. So, and consider also the schedules which are of relaxation for the employees. When is your when is your, for us we have Friday or Yay Wednesday, no? So when are those activities where they can collaborate? When are those when are those that you can have a coffee chat with your colleagues? When are those times wherein you can have games with your colleagues? So and then communicate your needs, no? And I think that is self-explanatory. And then express your innate altruism. So if there are activities in the company that wherein you can contribute, especially for those who are affected largely by the pandemic. Like, for example, if there are government regulations which are not true to your location but true to others, or those there are those employees who are not allowed to work in your location and they are quarantined in their individual locations, then join the altruistic activities. It is so fulfilling for each one. So that can also be used in your employee engagement program. So uh, the other activity or the other note that you have to be in mind is the letter L of the self, which is leadership. Okay, so these are some of the activities that I would like to share with you, no, that you can be engaged. No, the engagement does not only limit, by the way, to the company. You can also learn from others, widen your horizon, engage with other teams outside of your company, so that you will be able to know what they are doing and what are also the practices which you may look at it and perhaps apply to your own organization. So like for example, for us, the activities of employee engagement or games are really posted in our teams. You are using teams, and also altruistic activities like magtulungan. So we also have our bank account just for the employees to really deposit there. It started during the series of earthquakes here in Mindanao. So that can also be used in your company, no, in your organization, if you would like that to be developed. I believe Filipinos really would love to always help. No? So the care for others is very innate in us. So you can make use of that as part of your engagement program. So the next one is leadership of the self. So the letter L is leadership. This is based on the MIT research on leadership in crisis or crisis leadership. No, so this is finding hope and opportunity in a global company. So amidst this abundant turbulence now and worldwide uncertainties, there should be a guided decision. No? So it is very important for our leaders to be seen as decisive in, number one, um, focusing on the people well-being. So leading is about guiding people into the future despite the risks and uncertainties. No? So, or some would say an art of leading through the darkest hours. No? So that we will continue to carry the torch. No? So even if it is already very dark inside the tunnel, we still continue to light the torch and be the light, be the beacon of light for everyone. So mastering that art makes executives or leaders better every day. Each one of us, regardless of hierarchy, is a leader. I always emphasize this when I talk to the farmers, no, because we call them as agrilodis or the idol in the agriculture. You can be a leader in your own way. What is that? For example, if you have helped somebody in a very meaningful way, that you are able to convert their lives into a positive one, you are already a leader. No? So hierarchy does not define leadership. it is your deeds. Now, so what you have done is a defining moment of becoming a leader. So now here, in this research that they conducted, especially for this time, for this COVID time, adaptive capacity, or some would call it as agility. Adaptive capacity is very important. We should know our dance. We should know our steps. We should know, most importantly, ourselves. Now, so we should know our capabilities. Every time I do interviews for applicants, I always ask them, what is your purpose? What are your gifts? What are innate in you that you feel you are very much good at? No? Because sometimes we are so blinded by looking at what are our weaknesses, and you will be wasting so much time correcting your weaknesses, forgetting what are your strengths. So we have to look at our strengths. We have to look at what are our gifts, because that is your purpose. So in that manner, you will be able to pivot right away. No? So, and that is very important during this pandemic time. So, especially so that we are working from home. No? So, we will be guiding remotely. We will be supervising remotely. We will be leading the way through um, virtually. No? So that's why it is very important for us to be very adaptive, be very flexible, or be very agile. Number two is resilience. No? So resilience, not only resilience, but as well as relentless, perhaps. No? So we may be taken aback, but we have to bounce forward. Not just bounce back, but we have to bounce forward. So if you are taking a step, then you have to take two steps ahead or three steps ahead. So, and then trust. Trust is very important. When you don't trust your colleagues or your team members, then it is as if you're already not working, destroying, no? So destroying the team, or you are not engaging or disengaging already your team members. Trust is very important, even if that person fails at that moment. Now, so understanding the reasons why the person fails is very important, and trusting for that person to come back, trusting for that person to bounce forward is very, very essential. Okay, so and it is very essential at this point in time of our life. Okay, so and then the other one, the last one of the self is fulfillment. So I call this as fulfilling teams. No, so I love to coin terms which may be meaningful to you. No, so and it's up to you how you are going to apply that to your own organizations or to your own teams. So embrace flexibility. So that's the F now of the feel. Embrace flexibility. Do not react but respond. It is important for us to respond to every situation rather than react on the situation. So let us be adaptable. Let us be above the situation rather than within the situation. Zoom out. If you feel everything is not seemingly reconciling, seemingly um, not in place, then reboot yourself, look at a vantage view, no, and then find your flexibility. No? So, and then second is reimagine the employee experience. No? As HR practitioners, we have to always look at others, but do not forget to look at yourself. No? So, because very basic for us that we cannot love if we don't love ourselves first. You cannot give what you don't have. No? So reimagine the employee experience by reflecting on what your experiences are. Okay, so that's what we call as empathy, right? So we have to enhance, we have to increase, and we have to develop our empathy, and that's very key in reimagining the employee experience. Bring compassion to every conversation. Compassion doesn't mean that we always bend to the employees. You can be firm, but you remain to be compassionate. No? So you can be decisive, but you can remain to be compassionate to every conversation that you have with the employee. Sometimes our colleagues or our team members will just need somebody to talk to. They just need somebody to a shoulder to cry on. And it is challenging at this point in time because we are doing these things in a virtual manner. So, and they may be juggling a lot of things inside the house, or they are still trying to configure or trying to recalibrate their lives while working from home. No? So, the best that we can offer now is being compassionate, so to our colleagues. As I was saying, it doesn't mean that you cannot be firm with your decisions. You can be firm with your decisions, but you can be compassionate. Focus on leveraging the employees' talents. So, in engaging with them, let us encourage the leaders to really be um, the one accountable to their team members. No, so let us equip them, let us equip our leaders to become accountable, no, of every member who are entrusted to them. So, as I was saying, it is leveraging an employee's talents. Let us guide them on what the talents their colleagues have, their team members have, because we all have the data as HR practitioners. They submitted the data to us, whether you have your assessment tools, then we have to equip our leaders on who these employees are, converse with your leaders on what are the flips of our employees, no? So what are the tendencies of their team members, what are the strengths of their team members, what are also the challenging sides of their team members. So in other words, you are the eye of the blind spots of the leaders. Find out if employees are thriving. So it is very important for us to have checkpoint meetings. It is very important for us to touch base with the leaders. It is important for us to touch base with every employees. Are they growing with the company? Do they feel that they have contributed something to the company? So that's very important because fulfillment is also a currency today. So feeling fulfilled, feeling that they contributed something, especially at this time that we are facing crisis, is very important for every member of our team. So actually, this also hinges since it was mentioned during the introduction that we practice the Harrison. I would like to introduce this to you that Harrison is hinged on the enjoyment performance theory, of which when the employee enjoys the activities that they are doing, that individual will continue to do such activity because the individual or the employee enjoys what he or she is doing. Since he continues to do such, then the employee will be able to earn dexterity. And because there is dexterity in what he or she is doing, he or she will be able to receive positive feedback rather than the other way around, of which if the employee does not enjoy what he or she is doing, then that the employee may tend to procrastinate or not do those activities. And so the employee will not become better, and that the employee will be able to receive a negative feedback. So if we are enjoying what we are doing, then it is just a walk in the park. Our jobs, the activities in the company is like it's not a job at all. No, so there's so much fun. No, there's so much happiness. There's so much to celebrate every bit of our lives in the company. So fulfillment is very important. Um, to feel such fulfillment, perhaps you can develop um, the mental modeling of gratitude. Being thankful every day, every moment is very important to be developed for each one of us. It's good to be grateful rather than be hurtful. We have to choose our words very well. We have to discipline ourselves in giving feedback. We have to have that discipline to choose which words to use, when we are going to talk to our colleagues. So, and that I believe can help us, in engaging our team members in the organization or in the company or whatever organization you may be in. Okay, so at this moment, I think I am ready to entertain some questions after the video will be shared by Miss Rana about work from home.
Let me just share with you a very, very quick video, and this is a very good video. Like, medyo challenging lang
Si video.
ang pag-share screen nitong video na to. Okay. So I hope everyone can see this. Okay, I hope everyone was able to see that kasi feeling ko some of those in other areas, okay? Yeah. Lalo na yung mga inuulan ay palagay ko they're having a hard time with the internet. So we're going to share the link. If ever you would want to watch the video, and this is a very good video, you can actually watch it from here. Okay? We'll also send it in our group chat. So if ever you are watching from our page, you can see the link on the comment section. I've sent it there. You can watch it from there. If ever you're having problems with the audio, and I have a number of reports na they're getting very low quality do sa kanilang internet. So if ever you're getting a low quality, I've sent the link to our comment section. You can click from there and you can view the video. It actually details a number of options or a number of things that you can do, especially during this this time of the year na medyo challenging para sa lahat yung pagiging yung ating kinakaharap na sitwasyon. Okay? So, before we proceed to the Q&A for Miss Jackie, let me just quickly run through again some of our yung ating mga sponsors na meron silang mga gustong i-comment na mga request. So for one, if ever you're looking for a job, for those who are looking for a job, bookkeeper po ang Pet Warehouse Philippines is in need right now of a bookkeeper. So if you have a proven bookkeeping experience and you are looking for a job as a bookkeeper, you can send your resume to work at petwarehouse.ph. They're looking for a bookkeeper right now. If you can, if you're willing to work in Bambang Pasig and you can start as soon as possible, they would welcome you with open arms. Okay, and then Oprush is also looking for senior software engineers with 4.5 to 5 plus years in Node.js development. Okay, especially those who know how to build projects from scratch. Preferably someone with 1 plus years experience in AWS or Amazon Web Services. If you think you know someone or if you are interested with this position, please send your CV to support at readyrightnow.com, including your salary expectation, availability to start, as well as your availability for the interview. Uno Media Philippines is also in need of subtitle editors. They're pulling right now for subtitle editors. If you need more details, you can head to their Facebook page, www.facebook.com/Uno Media Philippines, for more details. You can also, if you haven't subscribed yet or if you haven't liked our page yet, you can head to our page. If you're watching from the different Facebook groups, you can capture the QR code shown here to join our group. We provide free and paid webinars. Our next free webinar in the HR in the Time of Pandemic series would be by next Saturday. The topic would be labor law compliance during pandemic. Okay, and while you're working from home. So we would be discussing the different compliances that you need to keep in mind, including questions on how to submit ang RKS5. Marami pong nagtatanong yan. Yung wire natin, or yung ating mga reports na nire-require ni Dole right now to ensure that all of the employees are taken care of. That would be discussed by next week. If you haven't yet and you would want to learn more about how you can include project management principles in your work as an HR professional, you can join our next webinar. This is a paid webinar happening on August 15, 2020. You can capture the QR code if you would like to register. We'll send you details on your email on how you can register, or you can head to the link indicated in this slide. We'll send you also the slide so you can register if ever you're interested. And then you can also join our Building Corporate Culture, which is happening on August 19. If you want to talk about how you can build a corporate culture, this is again a paid webinar. You can use the QR code or the link shown in order for you to register and be part of this webinar. Okay. For certificates of attendance po, we'll flash again this mamaya. But for the meantime, you can capture the QR code if you would like to request for certificate of attendance. Those who have attended last time who haven't received yet their certificate of attendance, use po the code indicated in the event page for that one. Wag po ito kasi this one is for the certificate of attendance for today po ito. Okay, this is not for the last step. So pag nag-register po kayo dito, makukuha niyo po is yung certificate of attendance for today. Okay? So we have a couple of questions right now from our group, but unahin po muna natin yung ating mga phone-in questions. So the first question is, what's the best way to monitor performance of our work from home employees? Ms. Jackie?
Yeah. There are others who have perhaps app, no attendance app, no. So that's one best way, no, to monitor. And another is on the end of day output. So, like for example, for us, we have an end of day output. No, so they are going to submit that to their leaders. So that's why, as I was saying, it's very important for us to really help also our leaders become HR leaders as well. No? So it's because it's really part of the line function. No? So those are measures that we will, or those are examples that we can monitor if they are working or not. No? So, and they can also be very innovative. No? So there are a lot of collaborative tools now, like for example in Google, wherein you can also make use of that. So if there
Mm-hmm.
are no contributions, then of course that person is not really working. Another is on if there are others who have ERPs or the enterprise resource plan tools for the company, then you will be able to monitor if the person is really doing the job or not. No? So if the person is the end user or core user or approver, so there are a lot of tools that you can monitor. So it really depends on the leaders, and it depends as well on the culture. So what kind of culture you are in? Are you more of attendance based, or you are more of output based, or results based, or quality based, or quantitative based? It depends. No? So then let us be innovative on the tools that we are going to use. Others can have their app on the cell phone, no, so
Mhm.
that the person already is in or not. No? So it really depends.
Okay. We have someone from the comment section. Ma'am, can you please share some engagement programs or activities for our employees, especially during this time? I think
Okay,
maraming gustong makaalam nito.
yeah. Number one is, as I was saying, it should be outlined in your business continuity plan. Okay, so especially at this point in time, no? So there should be as I was saying, a torch should be lighted by the leaders. So that should be defined in the business continuity plan. And then you need to have a crisis management team who will be handling that. It could be a core of three or a core of five. And then you can also include the rest of the leaders. And then so that's one. No? So that's on the business side of things, the entrepreneurship side of
With the
things.
rest of the leaders.
Okay, so the on the people side, for example, on the soft side, no, so you can have some games, no, like for example, others. This has been shared in our HRE classroom, Miss Rona, no. So there are
Mhm.
others who were sharing that they also have post it, no. So they make use of the Facebook Workplace, no. So we're in.
Mhm.
They post also their family time, no, so for example, dinner time with the family, or activities with the best activities together with their friends, or the best coffee time with their teammates, no, and you can make that as a contest, no. So for us, we are doing our Friday, so a video K, and then the contest will move on to that. But you have to have certain time, no? So we have to be very specific with our time and be disciplined with our time. It should not be like one to sawa, no? So it's because
Mhm.
we already work from home. So there should be specific time when to relax, no? So those are one of or few of the examples that you can explore. So explore your platforms to engage, and you can also do another engagement activities, which is combined between the people side and also the business side, is coach the leaders. No? So you can
Mhm.
make use also of the young ones who are so like for example this one, the geeks, no, social geeks, no, so they are very techy, no, so you can select those young ones who can teach or guide or mentor those who are already like somewhat challenging in making use of some of the technology in the company. So those are examples. It's not just on fun. It's not just on fun. Like for example, for us, since we are farm, now we are dealing with farm people. One of the very emphatic engagement activity is when we have 110 employees who are not allowed to go to our place because of LGU constraints, no, the policies, the rules of the government. So we, for 1 month and a half, they are out of work. So the employees themselves, us, we contributed for them 5 kilos of rice per day for every household. No, so that is very fulfilling, no, very fulfilling, and the team is so engaged because we are there for them when they have nothing. So
Mhm.
and then after that, when we accepted them, when the ECQ was lifted, we welcomed them back and celebrated as well their coming back to the farm. So those are examples that we can make use of. You can make use of the crisis. You can find opportunities in every crisis situations that you have.
Yeah,
So
and
I
yeah, I actually like when you said that it should not be all fun. There should also be other ways on how you can handle engagement. So hindi lang kailangan na panay TikTok contest or let's say Kahoot quiz bees. These are things na appreciated, but we also have to look at other things. Like for example, if we have employees who are unable to work, how are we going to help them as an organization or as members, team members of an organization? What can we do to show na kumbaga kaisa rin tayo ng mga tao na hindi nakakapag-work pa right now. So I think it's a good idea. And I think it's also connected to the next question that we have, which is from Lynn Mendoza. She mentioned that is this the right time to conduct talks about company core values, or should we focus more on the fun activities to keep them engaged and happy while working, since we know that work from home right now is stressful. So I think it's related to this one na
yeah,
hindi
but
lang kailangang fun activities lang. Kung puwede rin
yeah.
naman yung mga discussions like this one. What can you say, Miss Jackie?
Yeah, I really would like to emphasize that know your core values, know the culture that you would like to manifest. It's very important. Artifacts of your culture, of your company culture is very important to be defined, and the artifacts will be seen through whatever you're going to post and whatever behaviors you would like to your employees to manifest. No, so it is very significant, no, to always repeat, no, because learning is an iterative process. No, so it is very important for us to align whatever activities we have with the culture that we would like to manifest and we would like us to be branded. No, so and let us be careful also on the fun part, because let us be mindful that we are facing pandemic and there are people who have lost their loved ones. No, so that's why I am more encouraging on the altruistic side, because it
Mhm,
engaged us. No, it engaged us to be one. So we have to think as one. So even if they are when they are experiencing pain, we have to be one with them. Although not necessarily experience the same pain, because we cannot really experience such because we are not in their lives, but we have to be exercising empathy. No, so that's why I am more inclined on the altruistic side, that engage
mhm.
us with them and welcome them back when we can welcome them back. No, in our workplaces.
Okay, so we have here one from JP Bersola. Aside from doing a virtual wellness session, can you give an effective employee engagement program to properly address mental health concerns of employees, especially those who are working from home? So this is more of an employee mental wellness. What can
Okay.
you say?
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. For us, it should not be confined on the psychological first aiders, no. So but we took the courage to develop that. We have our stewards of safety. Again, I am looking at the culture that you would like to manifest, no, and to be branded, no, to be known as such, since our core competencies is entrepreneurship and stewardship. So we developed the stewards of safety. So SOS,
Mhm,
kumbaga, we train them to know how to actively listen, no, so that anybody can call them. It should not be confined to HR people. We have to distribute this, no, we have to distribute this
agree.
to the different employees in the organization, because every one of us is a human being. We all have ears, no, so that's why we have two ears and one mouth, because we are encouraged to listen more rather than speak more, no. So just for developing the actively listening for our employees can help, no. So because as I was saying, there are employees who just need to be listened to, not just being heard, but listened to, no. So that's why I said that be careful with the fun part, no. So because we are facing crisis, we are facing health crisis of which loved ones are lost, no. So being there alone is already a big plus for our colleagues.
Okay, so we have one comment here from Miss Bernadette Villegas. She mentioned that she does not agree with the pandemic being a great equalizer, given that we are dealing with senior and junior executives, managerial and rank and file employees. So management of our people remains stratified. In my opinion, there is a part of it that can be considered as a great equalizer in that every one of us is it's happening to us uniquely. It's not something that we have been prepared for. No one among us has a previous experience on how to handle a pandemic of this scale. It's not something that has happened to us. I think the last time that this happened was the Spanish flu, which was way before our time. So it's not something that we're really prepared for. But I do agree that there's a different way of dealing with the different layers in the organization. So those employees who are in the rank and file level, they need the most support right now compared to those who are in the highest level, because the highest level will have some ways of how to deal with the situation. They would have the financial stability to deal with the situation. But those in the rank and file level, they are the ones who need the most, whether it be mental support, mental health support, or financial support. They would need more of that compared to the other levels. Would you agree, Miss Jackie?
Yeah. Thank you for that comment. No? So it means to say that we really have different ways of looking at things, and I really appreciate that comment. No? So what I was trying to emphasize it that is that COVID does not know culture. COVID does not know hierarchy. COVID does not know race. No, so it affects everyone. So that's what I meant by equalizer. And I respect the comment there a while ago that we still have hierarchies, no? So and I
Mhm.
appreciate what you said also that um, there are employees whom we have to give focus as well, no? So that's why, as I was saying, we have to develop more of our altruistic side of us. That if we have something to share, then let us share, no? So it's because it is so fulfilling for each one of us.
Yes, okay. So we have here one question from Ms. Rochelle de Peralta. Are there tools that we can use to monitor the performance of the employees?
Yeah, a lot of tools, no? So as I mentioned a while ago, there are collaborative tools that you can explore on, which are free. And for us, we are using Microsoft Teams, no? So you can explore on that. And also, for us now, since we there are still employees, since we belong in the food industry and we are industry one in the IATF, no? So kumbaga, we are in full force, no? So
Mm-mm.
we are using a performance incentive system, no? So which very basic, no? The quantitative and the qualitative type of that, no? So that can be explored as well, no? So there are a lot of tools that you can actually explore.
Yes, I would suggest, for example, we also have Move Up. So they are actually one of our partners. They do micro learning. They also have a performance management system. There are a lot of ways. There are a lot of tools that we can use. We just need to make sure that we research online kung ano ba yung mga tools na po pwede nating gamitin. So, for example, you have Facebook. I forgot the Facebook work something. They have that. You also have your HRIS systems. You have Bamboo HR, even Sprout HR Solutions. They have an end-to-end HR solution that you can probably use in order to manage performance. But at this point, I think it's very, very important that we highlight the role of trust in making sure that our employees are productive and in monitoring the performance of our employees. It's very hard for us to really monitor what they're doing 24 hours a day, or at least the 8 hours that they are supposed to work. It will be hard for us to monitor that without really hovering over them. And once we start hovering over them, they might feel na nasasakal sila with their work. So it's much better that we highlight more on trust and just have the usual tools in place to monitor the performance of the employees. But there are a lot of tools online that you can make use of.
And one important thing that we can emphasize is that it is important for us to be very simple with the tools that we are going to use. No? So just be very simple. You don't need to be very complicated, no, in the tool that we are going to use or in the parameters that we are going to use.
Okay. So we have one comment from Alex Ustaris. Work monitoring changes with work from home. Time attendance is not as important. Work output is more important. This is very much true. The work from home setup has actually changed how we do business, and oftentimes work monitoring is more on trusting the employee and making sure that they are working during the 8 hour shift that they have, and what we can just request from them is their output instead of monitoring what time they come in and what time they log out. So
Correct.
it depends on, still depends on the industry that you are in. But in most cases, the focus now should be more on work output rather than on just the time attendance. Okay?
Thank
So
you,
yeah.
Alex. Alex is my colleague also. He's actually my colleague in the core crisis management team. Thank you for joining us here.
Okay. And then, okay, so we're done with that. We have one question from Aubrey Dalmasio. How can we motivate our people while working from home?
Yeah, very basic, no? Very basic. Communication is very important. It's just one of those, but very effective, no? So communicate always with your colleagues, no? So enable your leaders to do such. It's not, it should not be on the shoulders of HR. It should be with the leaders, you know. So the leaders should continuously communicate with their team members. Like for example, how are you today can go a long way. When you asked how are you, when you are being asked how are you today, you will, it really strikes your heart, no? How am I today, right? As simple as that. So you can already know what the person is. Like for example, the other day I asked one of my colleagues, how are you today? And then she asked me, how am I to you in terms of my performance? So you see, it's just a very simple how are you today, but to her, it is so important. So it's just very basic, no, to motivate people. You do, as I was saying, you don't need to be complicated. You just have to be very simple, be very basic, because COVID-19 teaches us to be very basic and to appreciate and be grateful with what are basics to us and what are
Okay.
simple.
Okay, in my case, yeah, I agree. It's more of making sure that you touch base with them, talk to them. It helps because we are social animals. So now that we are all, most of us are working from home, it's very hard for us to really get the human contact that we need. So we need to make sure that we touch base with our employees, we touch base with our team members, ask them how they're doing, ask them if there's something special about their day. Just keep tabs on them without really focusing on their work. Make it light, make it something na talagang conversational, just so they would feel na I still have the human contact, I still have people around me who care about me. That will help in motivating them. Of course,
And
incentives and compensation will help, but it's more on the communication.
and
Yeah.
perhaps you can emphasize, sorry, perhaps you can emphasize that every one of us is responsible to our own feelings, right? Every one of us is responsible to our own motivation. So let us not be nannies to everyone. No, so let us teach them to be responsible to their own motivation. No, so because external things are really external. The boat will sink if we will allow the water to come in. But if we will not allow the water to come in, it will not sink.
Okay. Next question from Miss Mine Genosa. Do you recommend that the CEO is part of the crisis management team?
It is very important to have a sponsor, no? And the CEO is very important for us, for all of us to be a leader, no? But it depends on the size of the organization, I should say. No? So if the organization is very, very big, perhaps not so micromanaging, but if it is a small company, then it will also be seen by the rest of the members of the company that hey, our CEO is very serious about this. It depends, no?
Uh,
It depends on the culture and the organization, the size of the organization.
I would suggest, mine, I would suggest that you include the CEO personally. I've worked with a company with about 2,000 headcount. And during the time when the pandemic started around March 16, he was very active, he was very visible. He was talking to all of the managers, he was talking to all of the directors. We had town hall every now and then, just so he could touch base with the employees, and it really helped a lot in assuring the employees that everything is being taken care of, that the employees are being taken care of, that we are doing or initiating steps that will ensure that when they go back to the office they will be safe. If ever they do contract COVID, the company will have their back, the company will help them, that they don't have to worry about their finances for the next few months. So with the CEO talking to everyone very openly, very transparent about the steps being taken, it assured a lot of the employees. We were able to get employees to really stay, to be confident with what the future will be. So I think it's a good idea to have your CEO on the crisis management.
Agree.
Okay. Now from Rochelle again, how do you help employees who are not productive, particularly during this time? How do you help them?
As I was saying, no, based on my experience, I would like to share one experience that there was one employee who really ran out, no, literally ran, no, so because of perhaps a medical condition, no, so it is very important to really touch base with them, talk, communicate with your employees. What's happening, rather than bring a judge, bring a a conclusion to the situation. No? So understand, it is very basic for us to know why, what's happening. And in fact, do not ask the question why, what's happening to you. No? So if we will ask the question what rather than why, then we will be able to generate answers which will help also the person.
I agree. I agree with that, Miss Jackie. When it comes to helping employees who are not productive, the first step that you should take is to understand why that is not happening. Why the person is not productive. It's very tempting and it's very easy for us to say na idaan na lang sa performance appraisal or idaan na lang sa disciplinary action. But siguro this should be the last resort if
Correct.
ever you're handling someone who is not productive. The initial step should be to understand and really figure out and talk to the employee and understand where they are coming from and where the unproductivity is coming from. That's for me, that's the best way to handle that.
Let us be human in the human resource, and let us be
Correct.
people first in the people management.
Correct. So the next question is from Ms. May Rosales. What is the best tool and effective way to engage our employees?
I learned this from MIT that your always answer is it depends. No, so it's because it's because you are the best judge in your situation. But there are so many tools. No, especially if we are working from home. What kind of platform you are using in the company? Explore those. No, explore those and engage. No, engage with them. No, so you can play around with the different like for example in our Microsoft Teams there are a lot, no, that you can explore. Even if you don't have that, then you can make use of Facebook, no, so in fact it is very it is what's this, you can do a lot in the Facebook. You can post a lot in the Facebook where you will know what's going on in their house. You will understand why this person is behaving such. So many tools, we just have to be very creative and innovative.
And I would suggest also, May, that you check the profile or the demographics of your team members. Because if you
Agree.
are working with millennials, you might want to touch on the idea of gamification or including gaming principles in how you do things. So providing them with points if ever they're able to finish something or do something or attend a seminar or cascade something. And then those points, you can convert that into a merchandise or something that the employees can enjoy. So you might want to consider that. Look first into the demographics of your team members, and then work from there on what clicks with them, what is okay with them, what is acceptable to them. Your employees are the best resource for how you're going to craft your engagement program.
Agree.
Okay. Alvin Bautista has a comment. I like the fulfilling slide. Work from home is a unique setup, and working in silos is something that we're not used to.
Agree.
Yes,
Thank
correct.
you. Thank you.
It's actually correct. It's hard to work in different groups. But with the different tools that we have, we should be able to connect with one another. So from Edgardo Galindez, I have learned of an employer who contracted the services of an e-learning webinar providers, and workers are made to earn credit hours or points to continue receiving salaries while operations are still suspended. Okay, if
Wow.
the operation is still suspended and they are not getting salary, this might be a good way to get them going, get them earning something, get them to grow themselves, make better use of their time. So I think this is a good idea, especially if operations has stopped, temporarily stopped, and they might be on a no work no pay situation. So this is actually a good way for them to handle that.
Congratulations, Edgardo, for that. And thank you for sharing, no? So everyone can share, so we can learn from them. I can learn from all of you as well.
Yes, that's correct. So Alex again mentioned that shouldn't performance monitoring of employees doing work from home be based on metrics that matter to their respective jobs? What can you
Yes.
say, Jack? I agree. I also agree with that. It should be based on metrics that matter to their respective jobs rather than metrics that we're putting in place just because we're used to. So, for example, I've come across a number of companies that put more emphasis on attendance, even though attendance does not play a role in their respective jobs. Hindi naman time-bound yung kanilang trabaho. So we should change how we do HR. We should change our processes to adapt to better ways, especially when we're working from home. I agree with Alex. It should be based on metrics that matter to their respective jobs.
Thank you, Alex.
We have from May Ontua, how can we help our senior employees now that we have pandemic?
I don't exactly understand what is being meant by the question. I'm sorry. But if it is about senior, because supposed to be senior are not allowed to go out, right? And we have also, that's why I'm not so clear with the question, because if it is 60 years old, should we say that of the senior, they are supposed to be on retirement, right?
Mhm.
So we should not extend. We should be thinking on the welfare, on their welfare. So if you have a retirement program for now, then let them avail of that. No, so because that's the most important. This is the most important time for them to already enjoy the retirement benefits. No, so if that is what you mean, May. No, so I hope I answer this question.
Actually, she has a follow-up to that. Are they entitled to work from home while the pandemic continues? I think if you have senior citizen employees, yes, they are entitled to work from home, particularly them. They should be working from home kasi their health might be compromised. So they should be really working from home right now. I think it's a
In
good idea to get them to
in
work
the
from
IATF, yeah, in the I thank you, Miss Rana. The in the IATF, it is being emphasized, no, that the senior, the pregnant, no, so those who may be very vulnerable should really be working from home.
home. Okay. As a team leader, I am challenged with giving my 100% trust to my agents while we are working from home. Any suggestion on what I can do to fully trust them?
The very basic one is identify. You need to have the introspection, if you may, no, so, and identify why you are having trust issues, no, on that, no. So if, I'm sorry if I use the term trust issues, no, so identify where are these coming from, and then release, no, release. Do not carry the baggage of being distrusting to your colleagues, because they may not also blossom, no, if you are not going to trust them, and allow failures, no. So it's because we are not perfect, no. So we cannot see a perfect person in this world, no. So allow certain failures as long as failures will not be repeated, and they are meant to be corrected.
Yeah, I agree. Introspection, find out first why you're having problems trusting your team members, and when you have that knowledge on why there is a problem trusting them, you can start working on those. Keep in mind that the only thing that you can control is yourself. How you react to things, how you handle things, that's the only thing that you can control. You can't handle how your team members will react, how they you can guide them on how they should behave. You can inspire them on what they should do, but it will be up to them how they will handle things. So if you would want to really trust them, you also need to trust how you have formed them or how you have taught them in the past. And keep in mind also that the only thing that you can control is yourself.
Agree.
Okay, so we have another question here from. Wait lang, nakasobra ako ng bilis. We have another question here from Miss Rochelle. What output can we assign to our senior citizens who are working with documents needed by the organization?
Perhaps it depends, no. So perhaps number, no. So or by quantity, no. So or by quality, no. So it depends on how you are going to look at your. Depende kasi sa ano, di ba? Depende kasi sa type of performance management system you are adopting. It could be a results based. It could be a competency based. No, it could be a behaviorally anchored type of tool. No, so it is really aligned on the kind of performance management system you are adopting, and as well as the type of compensation philosophy that you are drawing up or mapping out for your company. So yun ang aking. I hope I answer the question. It really depends on the kind of organization you have.
Okay. Alex actually has a very good point here. When it comes to trust, talk to them to make sure that they understand that your work relationship is based on trust and that they should not betray the trust. Then ask them to commit to daily or weekly or monthly outputs that are specific and well defined. That's actually one way to go about it. Thanks, Alex,
Yeah.
for your
Thank you,
comment.
Alex.
Oo. Actually, marami siyang na-share na mga comments on how to handle things. Okay? BD Lacson is asking, can we have a copy of the presentation? Yes po, a copy would be provided to you within the week so you can have better quality video. You can check this mamaya. Okay? Or sorry, by next week. Less than that. Okay. So we have a clarification from Bernadette. How do we assess the performance of employees who cannot come to work physically, but whose day job requires them to be in the premises, like inter-office messengers or utility workers who are prevented from coming home during lockdown?
Okay, so how are we going to assess? Perhaps you can first provide the tools that they can still deliver their job. No, so I think that's the first thing that we have to do. So what are the tools or vehicles that we are providing for them to deliver their job? Because if we don't provide vehicles or means or ways for them to deliver their job, then they cannot really perform their job. So there's nothing to assess, no. So I think we have to work on first on what help or assistance we are providing for them so that they can still continue to do their job.
Okay, and then we have here, we can't capture his name, but we have here a question. How can we handle a work from home if his task is as a driver and he is already a senior?
Okay, so that cannot really be work from home, no? So since driver naman siya talaga, so what we have to do is, like for example, kung food company ka, then let us provide a food pass, no? So food pass that is aligned or that is aligned with the IATF rules and regulations, then that is also aligned with the LGU, no? So kung senior na siya talaga, then as I was saying, kailangan talaga natin sila ipa-enjoy na sa ating retirement benefit. Kasi we are not also following the rules and regulations promulgated by the government. So nandyan kasi yan na kailangan yung mga seniors natin should not really go out na. No? So, kung driver naman siya, let us provide the different tools. Like for example, here in our region, it depends kasi on different regions, di ba? Like for example, for me, I can move from one region to another region because I have a food pass, no? So my car is really registered on that because nga we belong in the industry one, wherein we are required to really be in full force, or else our country will really go to food insecurity, you know. So let us provide them the tools that they can still deliver their job. Let us give them the PPE so that they can still continue to deliver their job. The work from home doesn't mean that we all have to work from home. Our economy will suffer. There are certain regulations that we can follow and then give them the necessary tools.
I agree. I agree with Miss Jackie. So the question here would be what kind of driver is he? Kasi kung driver naman siya for essential goods, I think there is an exception even though he is already a senior. I have an exception for that. But let's say for example if he's a driver for essential goods, I think po pwede siyang i-allow. But again, as mentioned by Miss Jackie, you have to make sure that you provide the necessary tools. You have to provide PPE, you have to provide yung mga protective mask, you have to make sure that the van or whatever vehicle he is driving is sanitized every now and then, that there are barriers installed para hindi siya mahawa kasi he's already a senior. So mas malaki yung risk sa kanya na mahawa siya. So we have to make sure that we also need to take care of them. If he's a government driver and if he is allowed, kasi meron namang listahan yun ng kung sino yung mga allowed to still work, mag-work pa rin sila katulad ng dati. If he is allowed, you just need to make sure that they have the necessary pass, okay, in order for them to be able to do their jobs. And then make sure, again, that they have the tools needed para makapagtrabaho sila. Okay? I hope that answers your question. So from Miss Catherine Banzuelo, can you share some rules that you implement in work from home setup? They wanted to ensure productivity and confidentiality of documents. How should they go about it?
Yeah, it's very important for us now. Thank you for mentioning about confidentiality of documents, especially now that we should be alarmed as well that even our finance people are already working from home. Now, so there is I think a sharing of information from Bangko Central that we should be very much stringent on the fraud, no? Since our finance people are already working from home. No? So I will go first on the policy. It is very important for us to define, no? To define, like for example, for us on stewardship, it is naka 1, 2, 3 talaga yung anong dapat nilang gawin while they are working from home. Just like the video that it was shown, so if you have a link of that, no, kailangan, like for example, wearing of uniform, maraming nagre-react doon, no? So, kailangan they really have to, ano sila, yung, kung ano yung working time namin, ganun din sila magre-report, no? So, and then, ang pinaka-critical talaga dito is the leader, no? Yung business leader, no? So, kailangan marunong talaga siya magdala ng kanyang team members, no? So, and then, wearing of uniform, wearing of ID is specific to a specific location in the house, no? So, it depends on what kind of benefits also or perks you are providing for your employees so that they can really continue to do a work from home. So, dapat nakaspecify yan doon sa inyong, like for example, kami, yung aming mga fuel, kinonvert namin into assistance of data. No? Kasi hindi naman sila pwede maggamit ng fuel ngayon, no? Kasi ano naman, hindi naman sila allowed to move from one place to another. So we converted those into data assistance, no, for our employees, no. So those are examples, and kailangan talaga meron silang pipirmahan on confidentiality agreements, no, that the company is also protected. Kasi ngayon dinadala na nila lahat, pati printers, no. So it's with them because how can they also, for example, print checks, no, kailangan dalhin nila yung yung ano, dalhin nila yung printer, no? So, but
Print
we're also, yeah, we are working on online banking, no? So, para ano naman, protected naman din yung company, no? So, and especially for those employees who really are working on confidential matters like salary, payroll, no? So, kailangan meron kayong pipirmahan na hindi yun nakikita ng mga family members, no? So, that's very, very important, no? So, and again, i-highlight mo yung trust, no? Na kung payroll person siya, trusted mo talaga siya na hindi niya ipamimigay sa kanyang mga family members yung payslip, no? So, kasi hindi pwede yon, no? So, then you have to again balance between trust and certain policies that you have also employed for the company.
And in our case, and in the previous company that I've worked with, one of the policies that we have in place was actually a policy for working from home. It was crafted specifically for the current situation. And it will apply for any pandemic that we will have in the future. And one of the clauses that, some of the clauses there deals with asset management. So, paano yung assets pag, for example, na-hire ka during pandemic, during work from home, how do we handle that? How do we handle the recovery from that if ever ma-terminate ka during pandemic or during work from home? Paano yung disclosure ng mga ng information, yung non-disclosure agreement, what are the agreements that we need to have in place, lahat naka-itemize doon. Ano yung mga requirements from the employees if they would be working from home? How do they log in? How do they log out? How do we measure their productivity? What reports do they have to submit to prove that they were productive for that day? So lahat siya naka-outline doon. So those are some of the things that you would have to consider if you're setting up a policy on work from home or telecommuting.
Yeah.
Consider the law on telecommuting, consider the current situation, consider also the practices that you have, and see which ones you can automate, which ones kailangan ng konting higpit kasi there will be a transfer of let's say confidential information. So all of those things we have indicated that the use of VPN, the use of PDF files, the use of encryption, lahat yun naka-outline doon. I think that will help you in ensuring the confidentiality of your documents.
Yeah. And one thing to note siguro is really your selection process na it's very important for you to really select the right people for the right job. So whether there is crisis or not, then if you have chosen the right person to cover the confidentiality and be trustworthy, I think everything will be taken care of. But of course, let us be mindful on some vulnerabilities.
Okay, so our next question is from Danielle Miranda. What are the basic skills that an aspiring HR practitioner should possess regardless of having a degree in psychology or HR development and management?
No, do not say sorry, ano, Danielle. No, so every question here is very important because I was once also like you. No, so skills, no, or competencies. Number one is that's why this is entitled as self because knowing what you have is very important. Ano ba yung nandyan sa'yo na you can what's this you can harness, no? For an HR practitioner is I think I would like to highlight trustworthiness, no? So that's very important because you are the people's champion, no? So you are the people's champion, so they come to you and they trust you and they entrusted your life. They when they come to you and apply for that job and they go through the process with you, even answer the assessment and entrusted that to you, then you should take care of that like a pearl. No? So I think that's the number one, the soft but the hard skill that we may not be looking at closely or seriously. Now, as an HR practitioner, you should be trustworthy. I think that's number one that you have to be giving. You have to give focus on.
Okay. And then we also have a question from Nolene Matula. What rewards or prizes do you usually give to the employees when you do engagement activity for them that is not too costly for the companies? Is the companies now don't have much budget due to pandemic?
I agree, no? So I agree. Thank you for mentioning this. As I was saying, no, that um, making them feel fulfilled, like as simple as recognition, no, is very big. And it's not costly, but it is very costly if you don't recognize them. Please check. Let us review the needs theory, no? So we can look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs or Hesberg's two-factor theory, no? So and then hinge from there, no? So um, recognition, recognizing them and congratulating them with the rest of the team is not costly but very costly when you don't do that, no? So yun, and then simple perks, like for example, when they have accomplished something, perhaps grocery items, it depends, no? It depends on the kind of demographics that you have, no? So you can go very simple. So as mentioned by Ms. Rona a while ago, if you know who your employees are, you always have your report every month on the demographics, like the generation gaps, no? Like for example, for us, ours, even if we are farm based, we have 67% millennials, no, and 8% Generation Z, no. So like for example, giving rewards on data, no, so that is very effective for them, but it's not costly. But as I was saying, I don't encourage cost for now, no. So it's because we are all facing crisis, no. So but for us now, we develop a performance incentive system because we need to really compete with other countries now in terms of banana, no. So our banana in the Philippines is ailing, no. So and especially we also have logistics challenges, so we really have to employ an incentive system that will really boost our performance and as well as help our economy. So that's for us, no. But for you, it depends on what industry you are in. And as I was saying, I don't encourage a tiny monetary rewards, no. So there are a lot of ways on how to appreciate work.
Mhm. Yes, I agree. Hindi kailangan gumastos. For example, you can come up with, let's say, mga certificates, e-certificate that you can provide them if ever they accomplish something or if ever they were able to finish something, just some sort of appreciation. And if you're going to give them something, some certificate of some kind or an email acknowledging what they have contributed, make sure that you do it publicly. Kasi nothing says appreciation more than really letting the whole organization know that this person was able to accomplish this person was able to do that. Masaya sa pakiramdam yung talaga ina-acknowledge yung contribution mo in front of everyone. Iba yung epekto nun sa mga empleyado nyo. So it's you don't have to spend too much on that, but yung reward niya, yung pagdating niya sa empleyado, malaki talaga yung magiging impact. So that's my suggestion to you.
Pwede din ano, letter from the CEO or
Mm,
the owner, no? That's not costly, but it really creates great impact and very engaging to your team members, especially if that person is really very exceptional. So there are so many creative ways, no? Just review lang our needs theory and saan mo ba dapat i-hit, no, ang mga colleagues natin or team members.
okay. We have one question from Jonathan Diaz. What is the difference between results-based and competency-based?
Okay, so ang results based could be you may use KPIs, no? So for the results based, no? So it could be a quantitative, no, thing for, let's say, tatlo lang, no? As simple as tatlo. That's why I keep on saying na just be simple with your performance management system, no? As short, as brief as three KPIs. That's our results based, no? For competency based naman, you, for example, you have the core competencies that you would like your company to be known for, no, and then you have the functional competencies. You don't need to have many competencies that is difficult for you to assess. No, so you can go as low as let's say 7, or you can
Mm-hmm.
go as low as 6, no, and in terms of the competency proficiency levels, you don't need to have 5 proficiency levels. You can have as 3 proficiency
Three, yeah.
levels. For example, sa amin, I reviewed our competency-based performance management system. Before, we have 25 competencies. Ang sinasabi nila, incompetency assessment. So kasi lagi na lang hindi sila competent in the assessment. So let us listen to these subliminal messages. So that's why I lumped it into 3. No? So na very specific, ano tong ibig sabihin ng level 1, anong ibig sabihin ng level 2, anong ibig sabihin ng level 3, and continue to hear their feedback and continue to improve it, no. So, and I'm very glad that we even do that now in our farm, no, and then we translate it into vernacular, no, gigawa namin Bisaya, no, so that yung ina-assess namin, alam nila, naintindihan nila na anong ibig sabihin nitong functional competency. So we make it very simple, no? Core and functional. Before, we have core, leadership, and functional competencies, no? But it's so difficult, no? The system is so complex, no? And at the end of the day, nagiging complicated tuloy, no? So just be very simple, one that can help you measure. You don't need to be
Yeah.
very complicated.
Yeah.
So I hope you
Just a quick
answered your question.
add to what Miss Jacques has mentioned. Simple to go about it is that the results is based on the output, as the name implies, and competency is based more on the skills and behavior. Okay. So ano yung skills and behavior na binavalue ng company, nasaan doon yung empleyado. Kaya may sinasabi si Miss Jackie kanina na levels, yung 3 levels, basic, intermediate, I forgot the last one. So may
They're,
mga ganon.
they're
Oo.
expert.
Yun, expert, sorry. So yun. So yun yung basic na difference ng dalawa. Pero at the end of the day, you can just have it simplified. You really don't have to label everything na this is results based, this is competency based. Ano yung nagwo-work for your company, and then go ahead with that one.
Yeah, for the results-based, pwede ka din per quarter na ano yung napag-usapan ninyong dalawa, na ito yung target natin ha, tapos ano yung actual mo. Ganun lang, as simple as that.
As simple as that. Yes, correct. So from Miss May Rosales, speaking of confidential documents, do you suggest any tools or any recommendation on how to handle if they need knowledge?
I think that was already answered a while ago by you, Miss Rana, right?
Actually, si Adobe Reader, they have a field and sign feature. So you can use that in order to get signatures or acknowledgement from your employees. And you can also send it via email, and then just make sure na you turn on the read receipt. That way, lalo na kung gumagamit sila ng Outlook, that way pag na-receive nila at nabasa nila, automatic ina-notify ka na na-check na nila yung document na yun. I think those are
At
two
saka
ways on
ano,
how.
At saka ano, kung wala kang tool, improve. Like for example, sa Excel, maglagay ka ng password. Kung mag-ano ka ng PDF, encrypt mo siya. Kung
Oo.
mag-email ka, mayroon namang encrypting sa email, no? So ganun, no? Just protect, and you don't need to buy a lot of tools just for that, no? May mga basics dyan, like the Excel, the Word, no? So even kami na, like for example, the job offer, kailangan meron talaga siya, encrypted talaga siya, no? So as simple as that. You don't need to buy tools for that. There are, just explore lang on what is available and optimize what you have.
Okay. And our next question is Miss Jackie. Please share contact of a resource person for Mind Matters program.
Yeah, a lot. You can contact Psychological Association of the Philippines, no? So go to the website of pap.org.ph. You can also go to MLAC, no? MLAC is of Dr. Hani Karandang. They have also a website. Particularly note Miss Blessy, no? So you can tell Miss Blessy that I will also inform her after this, no, na I shared with you all na they are had been very much helpful for us. But of course, you have to prepare your budget for that, no? Because the law of ecology says there's no such thing as free lunch. That's the number three law. No? So we have to also pay the expertise of people.
Yes, that's correct. Okay, so from Miss Imelda Rosales, how can we apply flexibility of time in starting and finishing tasks for the day of working 8 hours? Sometimes work for home is abused by superiors, such as that we still receive calls and instructions for work in a 24/7 basis. Problema ng marami ito.
Yeah, I agree. No? So I agree on that. That's why it is very important for HR to really lead the way na ano ba yung people well-being program. No? So ano ba yung kailan ba mag-unplug yung people at saka kailan ba mag-plug in. That's very important. Establish first your policy of work from home. When is the plug in? When is the unplugging in? That's very important. And it is so important for us to lead the way to respect, no? So to respect family time, to respect time of others. In the same way that we respect punctuality, because the worst robbery is to rob time of others because especially if we are late, no? So, and as well as if we also get so much of their time, no? So my suggestion is institutionalize your work from home policy, particularly on the respect of time.
Okay po. So we have our next question from Miss Rosanne. Can I be a payroll specialist even if I'm not psychology or HR graduate?
Of course, no? So of course anybody can, as long as you love numbers, go ahead. No,
Well, as
so
long as you like working with people, you like working with numbers, you like analysis, you can actually become an HR professional. Hindi ito kailangan ng psychology graduate. It helps. A course in psychology or a course in human resource development and management helps, but hindi siya tipong required or dapat ito lang yung way para maging HR ka. Anybody can be HR as long as you have the heart and mind for the people and the organization. Okay, so our company will be celebrating our company anniversary by next month. 26th anniversary na daw nila. Usually we have grand celebration in the past, but this time is different since we can no longer gather. Any suggestions?
there are celebrations which are celebrated virtually, no? So, and it depends also on the LGU rules and regulations, no? That's one. You have to look at that, no? Are they allowed to come or not? Do you have also the resources for the people to be transported, if ever? Kasi hindi kami, like for example here, hindi kami allowed dito with Mayor Sara, no? So we are not allowed to converge more than 25 people, no? So it depends on the kind of the LGU where you are in, but there are celebrations which can be done virtually. Make use of the tools you have in the company, no, and do that virtually, no? So you can have the town hall virtually, no, in celebration of that, and they can still wear, let's say, wear a gown or wear makeup or whatever and show their face, no? During that time, the best makeup, you can still have that queen of the night, king of the night, no? So depends on whatever motive you have, no, or what theme you have. Let's say children's party. There are a lot of ideas, no? Just tickle your ideas that you can have, no? So a children's party or a pajama party or whatever, no? That you can make use of.
Yes, I agree. So, yung location niyo should not be a problem. You can make use of Zoom. Zoom actually has a webinar feature. You make use of that. You can have everyone dressed up, and then you can have the managers, the directors, the CEO vote on who has the best get up or best dressed or whatever. So you can still do that. Yun nga lang pagkakaiba ngayon. You're doing it from different locations and you're doing it online, but still
And
it still is possible.
it will be fun. You can also make use of Grab, Food Panda, Deliveroo, or whatever to deliver the food to their houses. No, so it's because it's a celebration of your anniversary. No, so or you can also and then eat together. No, so after You can specify in the Grab that you have delivered this at a certain point in time. Let's say a pizza party, no? So during anniversary, and all of this will be delivered to their houses, joined by their family. So it will be very extraordinary because the family members are joining in your anniversary. I hope I gave you some insights on that.
Yes, I agree with Miss Jackie. Magandang suggestion yon. Now, you can tap Grab or Food Panda. Actually, in the previous company I've worked with, we tapped Food Panda to deliver, to provide our employees with um, food vouchers or gift vouchers that they can use in order to get discounted price sa mga i-order nila sa Food Panda. So you can make use of all of those. Okay. So our next question is again from Miss Maine Menosa. Can we combine results-based and competency-based in the performance management system?
Yeah, thank you, Miss Amay. No, we are actually doing that in one page. Can you believe that? One page lang talaga. No, yun ang requirement ng aking boss. One page performance assessment. No, nandyan na ang results based, nandyan na ang competency based. Kaya gigawa ko siyang tatlong levels lang, target and actual. Ganun lang sa results based, that's on top. And then the competency based na sa baba, and then total it. So sa results based, itong target natin ha per quarter, ito ang actual. And then whatever numerical, whatever you are going to on, weighted average. And then competency based, ito yung leveling natin ng proficiency, ito yung target ng position mo, ng trabaho mo, ito dapat ang gawin natin. Ganun lang kasimple in one page.
It doesn't have to be complicated, sabi nga natin. Okay. So Alex provided his opinion. Superiors have to be regulated as well. Certain desired behaviors are different when doing work from home, which is true. You also have, as HR professionals, you also have to guide your managers on making sure that they also respect the time of their team members. Kaya nga sabi ni Ms. Jackie kanina, it's very important that right from the start, you institutionalize kung ano ba yung magiging behavior. You come up with a policy on what would be the behavior, what would be the expectations, especially now that you are working from home. And that will help ensure na hindi yung mga managers, yung mga leaders, yung mga supervisors, they will not impinge on your personal time.
Thank
One
you.
Facebook one Facebook member or watcher also mentioned that in addition to celebration, I think you can post FB pics and vote for the person, beautiful makeup, best dress, and on that day of the celebration, you can announce the winners. Yes, actually, this
Yes,
is also
yes. Thank you.
yes on
Thank you.
how you can handle that. Okay, so I think we don't have any more questions. Okay, I think we have already discuss all of the questions that we have. Let me just reiterate what I've mentioned earlier. So, as mentioned earlier, please make sure if you would like to request for a certificate of attendance, you can request for it by scanning the QR code flash on your screen right now, or you can go to the link indicated here. We would also be sending this link in the group chat or in the group box, and we would also be posting it in the event page. So if ever you need or if you would like to request for a certification, you can make use of this. Okay po? Para po kayo po makapag-request ng inyong certification. Okay? May mga nabanggit po kanina si Miss Jackie na mga resource person. We'll try to get the details of those resource person and share them also with you. But for the meantime, if ever you have any questions, you can send us an email at support@readyrightnow.com and we will have it directed to Miss Jackie. Kukulit lang natin para isang bagsakan na lang pag binigay natin kay Miss Jackie. Okay, so yun po. So if ever you have any questions po, please feel free to comment it. Try pa rin po nating sagutin yan maya-maya. But for now, I think we have already reached the end of our line. We would like to thank everyone who attended here. Just a few reminders lang po, if you would like to join our HR Bootcamp Batch 13, you can use this in order to attend or to reserve a slot for you and your team. Okay, we can also conduct our boot camp specifically for your team. If you have at least five attendees, pwede po nating i-set up yan para kayo lang po yung a-attend. If you're in a school, if you're working for a school, a university, or any academic institution, You can also bring HR bootcamp to your school and have your students attend as part of the curriculum. We have a different pricing package for academic institutions. If ever you would be having your students, please let us know. We have a different package for that. Again, it's been a very fruitful discussion, Miss Jackie. Thank you very much for sharing your expertise with us. Thank you very much for joining us. We had a lot of questions and we had a very meaningful discussion. Those who were unable to watch the videos, I think some of them are having problems with the connection. You will still get a clear copy of the video. We would be sending it to you along with your certificate of attendance and with all the materials that was used today. We would be sending all of that to you. So thank you very much again for joining us this afternoon. Thank you very much. I hope you were able to learn something. See you next Saturday. Next Saturday, we're going to have labor law compliance during pandemic, and we would have um, an attorney who would be handling the webinar for us. So prepare your questions, register now. The webinar will still be held on our Facebook page and our Facebook groups para mas maraming nakakapanood. You don't have to worry about the links. If ever you did not get the calendar invite, you can expect that you can watch the webinar on our Facebook page and on our Facebook groups. Again, thank you very much. This is Rona signing off. Miss Jackie, thank you so much for your
Thank you.
support. Thank you,
Thank you so much.
everyone. Bye, everyone.